Ladies, you want to get inside a man's heart? You want to make him feel something so deep that he can't stop thinking about you? Let me tell you, it doesn't take drama, long essays, or a dozen selfies. Sometimes it's just one simple text, one message that catches him off guard in the most beautiful way and makes him feel emotions he wasn't even trying to feel. You see, men aren't as emotionally disconnected as they pretend to be. Oh no. We're taught to act tough, to not cry, to hold it in. Society told us from the time we were boys, don't show weakness, don't be too soft. But that doesn't mean those feelings don't live inside us. They're there just hiding, waiting for something or someone real to wake them up. And when the right woman sends the right message, it can shake a man to his core. Most women think they've got to pour their heart out over text, thinking a man will read all that and suddenly feel the weight of their emotions. But here's the truth. Men don't respond to long-winded paragraphs filled with complaints or demands. What hits us is something short, sincere, and real. A simple message like, I just thought about the way you smiled last night. Made me smile too. You think that's nothing? That's everything. That hits different. That kind of message gets a man's attention because it's not chasing, it's not pressuring, it's just acknowledging. It's recognizing a connection. And you better believe we feel that. The power of one text comes from the emotion behind it. Not the words themselves, but the feeling. When a woman says something that makes a man remember how he made her feel, that's the key, because whether we admit it or not, we want to feel like we matter. We want to feel like what we did meant something. So when you remind a man of a small moment where he made you laugh or gave you comfort or made you feel safe, that's how you trigger something in him. That's how you connect with the part of him he doesn't show anyone else. He might not reply with a heart emoji or a 10-paragraph message, but trust me, that text is going to stay with him. He's going to read it more than once. He might even smile at his phone and not say a word, but in his mind, he's reliving that moment with you. You see, men are wired a little differently. We operate on impact. When something feels real, when it feels earned, that's what sticks. So you send him something like, you really knew what to say when I was going through it last week. I've been thinking about that a lot. That message isn't just reminding him of the moment, it's telling him he showed up. That's powerful. That doesn't just touch his heart, it speaks to his manhood. And when a man feels like you see him, like you value how he showed up, you've got his full attention. Now let me be clear, this isn't about manipulation. This isn't about playing games to get a reaction. This is about authenticity. It's about being a woman who knows her worth and knows how to express appreciation without losing herself. A high-value woman doesn't chase a man. She doesn't beg for time or attention. She inspires it. She makes a man want to show up. That's what that one text can do. It can plant a seed in his heart that makes him rethink how he feels about you, even if he didn't realize it before. When a man receives a message that feels different from everything else he's getting, it separates you. You might have people checking on him, messaging him, trying to get his attention, but none of that will matter if what you send hits a deeper place. That one text can say, I'm not like the rest. I'm not here to play. I see you. That's what he remembers. That's what haunts him in the best way. That's what brings him back. And let me tell you something else. Timing matters. Don't send that message out of desperation. Don't use it because you're afraid he's losing interest or pulling away. Use it when you're in your power, when you're calm, when you truly mean it. Because if you send it when you're anxious, hoping to pull him back in, he'll feel that. Men are more intuitive than you think. But if you send it from a place of peace and confidence, it lands differently. It doesn't sound like a cry for help. It sounds like something genuine, something rare, and that makes it unforgettable. So the next time you're thinking about a man and you want to say something, Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just speak from the heart. Say something that reminds him of the good he brought into your life. Something simple, but true, and then leave it. Don't wait by your phone. Don't watch the clock. Just trust that if it hit the way it should, you've already done more than enough. Because one powerful text sent at the right moment with the right energy can unlock a man's emotions like nothing else. It's not about saying everything, it's about saying the right thing. You know, when it comes to relationships, people always underestimate the power of communication. But let me tell you something. In this modern age, when most of our connections happen through phones and texts, one single message can flip a man's whole emotional world upside down in the best way. A man could be sitting there acting like he's all good, like nothing phases him, but when the right woman sends the right text, it can hit him so hard that he has to sit down and breathe for a minute. And it's not about manipulation, it's not about games. It's about being so authentic, so tapped into who you are and how you feel that your words reach beyond the screen and touch his heart. Most women think men don't care. They think men just see texts and respond when they feel like it or leave them on read. But the truth is, if a man is truly interested, emotionally available, or even just trying to figure out how he feels, there's always a message that can shift the dynamic. There's always that one text that stays in his mind, plays on a loop while he's driving, while he's at work, while he's laying in bed. Because what that message does is make him feel something he didn't expect to feel. You know why it works? Because men are emotional beings too. They just don't always know how to access those emotions. But the right words from the right woman, spoken or typed with intention and authenticity, that breaks through the walls. A man may not respond to a paragraph full of "we need to talk" or "I don't understand you" or a list of everything you think he did wrong. He'll read it, maybe skim it, but his defenses go up. He might even shut down completely. But if you send him something like, "I was just thinking about that night we stayed up talking. I haven't laughed like that in a long time," that's when he stops scrolling. That's when he rereads your message, maybe even saves it in his mind, because that message takes him back to the feeling. Men don't always remember everything you say, but they never forget how you made them feel. If you can remind him of a moment where he felt connected to you, safe, appreciated, or even admired, he's going to carry that feeling with him long after the conversation ends. What makes the difference is how you make him feel about himself. That's the trick a lot of women miss. It's not about putting yourself out there just to be liked. It's about showing him what kind of woman you are by the way you speak life into him. When you send a text that says something like, "You really have a way of making people feel calm even when things are chaotic. I noticed that." Now that's something he probably hasn't heard before. That's something deeper than "I miss you." You've just touched a part of him he may not even recognize in himself. And when a man starts to see his value through your words, he sees you differently too. You also have to understand that men often move through life with a quiet kind of pressure. Pressure to perform, provide, protect, show strength, hold everything together. A lot of us don't get compliments that mean anything. We don't hear words that make us pause and reflect. But if a woman drops one meaningful line that hits us emotionally, it's like opening a window in a room that's been shut for years. We suddenly feel light, seen, and strangely vulnerable in a way that's not threatening. That's how powerful your words can be when you're coming from a real place. But here's the key. The energy behind the text has to match the message. You can't send it while you're anxious, angry, or hoping to get a certain reaction. He'll feel that and it won't land right. You've got to come from a grounded place. You've got to be still enough in yourself to send the message because it's true, not because you're waiting to see what he does next. The power is in the intention, not the outcome. When you operate from that place, you're not chasing him. You're inviting him. You're not forcing anything. You're simply allowing a deeper connection to happen. If he's ready, sometimes the text doesn't even have to be overly emotional. It can be playful, subtle, but still packed with meaning. Something like, you came to mind today. It was a good kind of distraction. That right there, that creates curiosity, warmth, and emotion all at once. He'll wonder what you were thinking about. He'll appreciate that he was a part of your day. And he'll probably replay that message in his mind a few times, trying to read between the lines. Not because you were trying to be mysterious, but because the message gave him something to feel, not just something to read. This is where confidence comes in. A confident woman knows she doesn't have to say much to be unforgettable. She knows that sometimes it's not about filling up space with words. It's about choosing the right ones. When she sends that one message that reflects connection, truth, or intimacy, she understands that silence afterward isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's a man sitting with his feelings, figuring out how to respond to something that actually touched him. Men don't always know what to do with deep feelings right away, but they know when something is real. And when it's real, it lingers. You'd be surprised how many men have kept screenshots of one beautiful message from a woman, something that hit different, something that made them pause. They might not show it, they might act casual, but trust me, it mattered. That message reminded them that they were valued, that they made an impact, and that someone saw past the surface. That's what the right text can do. And when it comes from a woman who's speaking from her soul, not her fear, that message becomes unforgettable. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how it lands. A man can go his whole day feeling like he's got everything under control. He's handling work, friends, life, maybe even acting like he's a little emotionally distant. But then his phone buzzes, and it's your name. And not just any message, one that makes him stop and feel. That's the kind of text we're talking about. The one that hits a place he didn't even know is open. See, men are emotional creatures too. We might not show it the same way. We might not cry or speak about our feelings all the time. But when something gets through our armor, it stays with us. A lot of women send texts hoping to get a man's attention. They want to be noticed. They want to feel acknowledged, so they over-explain, ask questions, or try to pull him in. But what really moves a man is not the noise. It's the quiet power of something genuine. You don't need to send 10 messages to make a man feel something. One well-placed, heartfelt sentence can echo louder than an entire paragraph. Something as simple as, "You crossed my mind today, and it made me smile," can linger with him all day long. He'll replay it, analyze it, feel it, and he may not say it, but that one text can change how he sees you. The difference between a regular message and one that triggers deep emotion is subtle but powerful. It's about making him feel seen, not just contacted. It's not about telling him how much you miss him or how he's been distant. It's about painting a moment, reflecting an emotion, and doing it without any pressure or expectation. That's the art of connection. That's what breaks through a man's defenses. When he feels that your words are coming from a place of truth and not insecurity, he relaxes. He opens up. He feels something he wasn't expecting. And that's where emotional attachment starts to grow. Men don't forget how a woman made them feel. It's not the physical things. It's not always the big dramatic moments. It's the quiet ones. It's the feeling of being appreciated when he wasn't even trying. When you send a message that reminds him of a small moment that seemed ordinary at the time but stuck with you, it shows him you were really paying attention, that he made an impact. That message doesn't just stroke his ego, it validates his presence in your life. Something like, you probably don't even remember what you said that night, but it calmed me down more than you know, will hit harder than any cliche love quote ever could. It's not about chasing him with your words. It's about inspiring him with your truth. A man is drawn to a woman who doesn't need to beg for his time or energy. She simply reflects the beauty of what they shared in a way that makes him want to come closer. A woman who texts from a place of peace and strength becomes magnetic. She becomes unforgettable. And that's what the right message can do. It can trigger emotions in him that he didn't even know were still alive. That's why timing is also important. You don't send these texts when you're frustrated, emotional, or trying to get him back. You send them when your heart is calm, when you're grounded, when you can speak from your authentic self without needing anything in return. That energy travels with the message. He can feel it. If you're texting out of fear, insecurity, or attachment, he'll sense that too, and it won't land the way you want it to. But if you're texting from clarity and care, he will feel the difference, and that changes everything. You don't need to write poetry or pour your soul out. You just need to be real. A message like, "That joke you told still randomly pops in my head and makes me laugh," is light, sweet, and completely disarming. It's not heavy. It doesn't demand anything, but it connects. It reminds him of who he was when he was with you. And more importantly, it shows him the effect he had on you. That's what triggers emotion. That's what sparks reflection. That's what makes a man think, she really saw me. Most men carry the weight of trying to be strong all the time. We don't often hear that what we do matters. So when you send a message that reflects even a small act of kindness, strength, or presence, it goes deeper than you realize. It's not just a text, it's a reminder that he's more than his job, his reputation, or his responsibilities. He's a man who left a mark. And when you become the person who sees and acknowledges that without pressure, without chasing, you don't just enter his mind, you stay in his heart. A man can walk through life carrying responsibilities, goals, pressure, and expectations without ever really showing what he feels. He might come off as cool, distant, or completely in control, but the truth is, beneath all that strength and silence, there's a heart that still wants to be understood. A lot of women don't realize that one of the most powerful things they can do is send a message that makes a man feel deeply, not manipulated, not chased, not controlled, but felt. That kind of text doesn't just hit his inbox, it hits his soul. It's the kind of message that makes him pause, feel something, and carry those words around with him in silence. What makes that one text so effective isn't how long it is or how clever it sounds. It's how true it is. The kind of message that triggers his emotions like crazy is the one that feels effortless but honest. It doesn't say, "Why don't you talk to me anymore?" or "I don't know what we're doing." That only puts pressure on him. The kind of message that cuts deep is the one that simply reflects a moment or a feeling, something like, "I just remember the way you looked at me that night. We didn't even have to say anything." That kind of line brings him back to that moment. It replays in his head, and suddenly he's feeling again, feeling you, feeling the connection, feeling the value in what you share. A man who cares will always respond internally to something that feels real. He might not respond right away or even at all in some cases, but that doesn't mean it didn't hit him. What's important is the intention behind the message. You're not texting him to change him, to pull him back in, or to create guilt. You're simply allowing your energy to be felt. That's what makes all the difference. Men are more sensitive than most people realize, but they've been taught to hide that sensitivity behind strength and silence. So when something slips through and touches them, it's powerful. Sometimes the most emotional message isn't emotional at all in tone. It's casual, it's light, it's personal. I heard that song you played in the car and I smiled.